Happy 4th of July to those who care, because there are those out there that don't care. And this is the Iceman on the Iceman V2013 YouTube channel. Controversial, as always, very lacking as of late, but you know something, somebody just brings out that side of me sometimes where, you know, you just hold back for a long time and then finally you just say, you know something, enough's enough. All right, 15 years ago, there was a new promotion. It was TNA, Total Nonstop Action, Impact Wrestling. It came out. It wasn't televised on TV, but it just started, and it grew to the point where it was doing weekly pay-per-views for $9.99. And those pay-per-views were for people to purchase, and that money there helped build the financial background for Total Nonstop Action. It came to the point where the money come in, financially they started becoming set, and they looked for a network to air their program. Well, they found foxsports.net. And what happened here is it was a 1 hour show where they could showcase their talent within an hour. Now, let's face it, an hour isn't that much time. So either you have matches and less talking, or you have some talking and less matches. Well, it flew. It grew. And it came to the point where Total Nonstop Action, TNA Wrestling, started to become much bigger. Now, when all this occurred, there are all those naysayers out there because you're a WWE fan that, well, this promotion sucks, it's going nowhere, it's never going to be like WWE. Did they ever try to say they were going to be like WWE? No, they wanted their own identity, and they did. They had the six-sided ring. And to be quite honest with you, after following it for all these years, it grew and grew and grew, and it was a very fun promotion to watch. I think part of its downfall was they were bringing in their own talent, they were developing their own stars, and then when the WWE released somebody or they had to leave due to drug or alcohol issues, they went and reached out to TNA Wrestling. And because these guys were marquee names, for the most part, TNA brought them in. TNA gave them a second chance at showing their talent and not letting them become washed up. Well, what happened here was with TNA bringing in all these guys that the WWE either discarded or didn't want anymore, they sort of forgot about the talent that they were developing on their own. Because, let's face it, TNA brought in the Kevin Nashes, they brought in the Scott Halls, they brought in a Jeff Hardy who got rejected finally by the WWE. Christian, former tag team partner with Edge, left the WWE looking for something bigger and better for himself because he was always in the shadows of Edge when he was Edge and Christian, one of the best tag teams that WWE ever had. And he made a big name for himself in TNA. And why he left TNA is still beyond me, because he went back to the WWE and he really, yeah, he won the world title once or twice, I believe, and it was short-lived, but his career was so much bigger in TNA. That's one mistake Christian made. He should have stayed in TNA. And then we saw the Kurt Angles. Kurt Angle, another one, having problems with alcohol and drugs in WWE. He goes to TNA. He was bigger and better in TNA than he ever was in the WWE. He was more prestigious. He held more titles. His career was TNA, even though he did start in the WWE. And then we saw the likes of Sting, who often said after WCW, was bought out by the WWE and closed down. Sting said, "I'll never work for Vince McMahon." What does he do? Many years later, he comes to the WWE only to be the face of WCW, only to be ridiculed, only to be embarrassed, and be beaten by a team of members of DX and Triple H, only to prove a point by Triple H that WWE was always better than WCW. And Sting allowed this. Maybe it was for the fame, maybe it was for the glory, maybe it was to get into the WWE Hall of Fame. But I think, in my opinion, Sting sold out, because when he came to the WWE, he did absolutely nothing. But when he went to TNA, they treated him like a god. How many times did Sting have the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Sting was treated like a god. He walked on a red carpet in TNA wrestling. And that's what Jeff Jarrett and Dixie Carter did for him. So, now, we get to the point where Hogan and Bischoff come in to TNA wrestling. Bad move by Dixie Carter. If she knew what she knew now, back then, Hogan and Bischoff never would have been there, because that was the downfall of TNA wrestling. Big contracts, brought in people that really didn't need to be there, and they started focusing on people that they brought in. And again, the people that were there, men like AJ Styles, who had the TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt going into 2010, lost it there in February to a man from the WWE by the name of Rob Van Dam. And Rob Van Dam had such an ego to the point where he beat AJ Styles with a pin, and he did not even secure that pin. That's how sloppy that win was, and that's how cocky members of the WWE were that came to TNA wrestling. So that was starting of the downfall of TNA. It was good for a short time because I went head to head with the WWE. Big mistake there. Eric Bischoff thought he was still in WCW. Hulk Hogan still thought he was the Hulk Hogan that he was in WCW. Not to be. And things started falling downhill. The losses of AJ Styles. Dixie Carter was losing money financially. She could not pay contracts for the big name stars. So little by little, slowly by slowly, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, they all fled the company. But Dixie tried. She did. She had a heart. She tried to keep TNA going. She did not want to let it get closed down. She did some underhanded things, yeah, but she did it all to keep TNA alive. There was a lot of controversy between her and Billy Corgan. So be it. The courts found in favor. Dixie had to end up selling TNA wrestling to Anthem Sports. Now, Anthem Sports took over. You know, they didn't have much talent there, but they utilized the talent with what they had. And then a few months later, with a conglomeration and meeting up with Jeff Jarrett with Global Force Wrestling, TNA decided we're going to try to do something different. So they merge, they drop the TNA brand, they keep Impact Wrestling, and then just days before this month's Slammiversary, they announced that Impact Wrestling is now Global Force Impact Wrestling. Jeff Jarrett's back involved, and a lot of people say it's a bad thing. I don't necessarily think so, because he did develop Total Nonstop Action into a promotion that started growing, but he ran out of money as well financially. So, for all you WWE fans out there that want to keep on ditzing on TNA Wrestling and now Global Force Impact Wrestling, even when you don't even watch the show, I make videos about Impact Wrestling. I make videos about WWE. If you don't like it after seeing the title, don't watch, because I don't need your views. And I get remarks from somebody like the name of YWC Future, who calls me an old man, calls me grandpa, calls me this, calls me that. Do I care? No. Because I put myself in front of a camera. Do you? No, you don't. And there's many others out there, many trolls out there that like to make remarks, that like to bring people down in their videos. But the bottom line is, you never see them put their mug in front of a camera like millions and millions of other people do. And the people that are involved in the world of professional wrestling, they have a passion. They're there. I love professional wrestling. It's not as good to me as it used to be, but I still try to get involved. I still watch the WWE pay-per-views like I will this coming Sunday. I watch TNA, former TNA. I watch GFW Impact Wrestling on a weekly basis, and I watch Slammiversary. I bought Slammiversary, and yeah, there's streams out there you can watch for free, but I bought it and I enjoyed it from start to finish. And when I go and do a review about it and I say how good it was, and I get remarks like, well, it's overrated, it's not that good as the WWE. Well, if you never watched Impact Wrestling, or if you never watched Slammiversary, how do you really know? You're just making a false statement without having any facts. So there you have it on this happy 4th of July. This is the Iceman, becoming very controversial. Peace out, as always, everybody.